Welcome, everybody, and happy Venus Day. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's had a great week so far, and everybody's had a great Memorial weekend last weekend, and also a great Gemini full moon, too, as well. Today, I have a lovely, beautiful guest speaker today that we are going to be discussing about how much diving in and how much we have confidence and intimacy and public speaking too as well, and how to bring balance back into relationships. I want to introduce Travis, also known as Tank or Timberwolf, is a holistic wellness coach with over 17 years of experience. He specializes in relationships, intimacy, confidence, public speaking, and aiming to bring real love, balance back into relationships. He's also the author of the Riftwardens Guardians of Balance as well. And with that, welcome, Travis. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Raven, for having me here today. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be here.
Thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, yes, my name is Travis. I do go by Tank. It was a high school nickname, actually. It came from when a little backstory behind that. It came from when a minivan hit me in the right side of my body when I was on a bike without a helmet. My head smashed the windshield. My body left a very lovely dent into the hood of that vehicle. And after I hit the ground, 2 seconds later, I just pushed my bike off me. I stood up. I didn't have a scratch on me. So my friends just decided to say I was built like a tank, and it just stuck. I am a holistic wellness coach and consultant, and as well as a metaphysical researcher and practitioner. I specialize in dating, relationships, intimacy, sex, confidence, insecurities between singles and couples between the ages of 25 and 50. I help them to reestablish their own confidence and help them better themselves in the dating world. I help them to achieve a little bit more confidence and strength in their power of speaking and how much power they hold. And yes, I also wrote the book, the Riftwardens Guardians of Balance, that is now available on Amazon in 3 different versions on Kindle, black and white, and the color. If you look at the color one, you will actually see the A+ content to give a little bit more context of what the book is about. But that's also why I'm here.
Also, too, right? And everything else, how to reach Travis, everything else
Oh, yeah.
is literally all linked in the description everywhere. All his social media platforms where you can purchase the book and literally see the summary of the book and everything else and download it and purchase it there on Amazon as well. The link is available down the description and below too as well. So, yes. What else would you like to share with our lovely audience? Just
Well, I also
yeah, go ahead.
well, I also did create a video that's available on YouTube. It is quite literally meant to change the world. It will open eyes. It will break down barriers. We can finally break down the barrier of division if we give this a lot of heart and a lot of power behind it. I'm not selling anything with this one. It's on YouTube. It takes one voice to change the world. You can find it under my YouTube channel, Tanker 3484, or the channel is also called the Wake Up Call.
The wake up call. Right. How did you become and how made you aware? And when did you have your wake up call? Your awakening. Let's dive into your spiritual awakening and journey and things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about spiritual awakening journey, it actually started at my birth, believe it or not. I was actually born dead, and I came back, ever since things that have occurred in my life. It's like I was touched by, something, and there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life. I just mentioned the minivan incident. By all reasons and accountability, I shouldn't have been able to stand up without a single scratch on me, or let alone or stand up. Period. Things like that. But it also, I got more in depth depth with it when I was doing my meditations at a young age. I brought it into the military with my fellow soldiers I served with when I was in OSET training. They learned the benefits of what meditation can really do. They felt more energy. They felt real connection. And a few years later, I actually watched a movie called Hitch, starring Kevin
Mm-hmm.
James and Will Smith. One of the very few movies you get to see Will Smith act like a total goofball. It's just it's like, kind of like bringing back Fresh Prince of Bel Air on accident. It was great. It really was. Um, and that movie, when I saw it in the military over 17 years ago, it inspired me. It struck me that I would love to do that for a lot of people because I
Mm-hmm.
see so many lonely and single. I saw so many lonely and single individuals that were
Mm-hmm.
just wanting to find a real relationship. And they wanted that chance with that someone. And I went off of the fact that, well, at the time I was engaged to a very beautiful, young, lovely woman, and she was a very, very tremendous part of my life. And I had thought,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I can have that in my life, I'm sure a lot of other people can. So I went about asking or talking to my fellow soldiers, saying, "Hey, I know what I'm going to do when I get out of the military. I want to do this." I was told it wasn't a real profession, and being young and naive at that time, I just took it at face value. But at the same time, I didn't care that it was a real profession. It was still something that was struck in me that I should go forward with it. So quite often, more often than not, I actually ended up helping quite a few people over 17 years. And pardon me, it wasn't
You're
just in
fine.
terms it wasn't just in terms of relationships, dating, intimacy, sex, connectivity. It was also helping people find their confidence in how they can speak better publicly, helping people with their fears, especially their insecurities. I've helped people with in terms of finding their careers. I've Yeah, so it's just evolved over 17 years. But the longest practice niches I have are relationships, public speaking, and metaphysical healing as well. And helping people heal in terms through meditations, their inner power, their strength, and help them finding out how real it is.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What? Okay, I'm going to ask you this question.
Go for it.
Okay, when you knew, like, what was your passion? Like, what when you knew, like, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to specialize in intimacy and relationships. What drove you to that? What drove you for the passion for that that brought you here today? And
Oh, that's what I meant. Like that movie Hitch.
Hitch
That
is
was my
that was a metaphor, right? Hitch was a great movie too, by the way. I watched that too
oh,
times, right? That's just yeah, it was a great movie.
honestly, in all honesty, I feel like I'm a combination of Albert Brenneman and Hitch in one. Honestly, because
Right, right.
I feel like that. I mean, Albert Brenneman, played by Kevin James, phenomenal actor, great man, awesome comedian. He like seeing him in that light of that, he didn't have a whole lot of confidence, but he had a lot of heart. He was that good man, real
Right.
good man. And I'm like, I have that too.
Mhm.
I was married. I'm no longer married to my ex-wife anymore. Long story. I've been in a few relationships that lasted years, actually,
Mhm.
and I just had that heart, you know. But that movie it kind of like it just ignited that spark of my romantic heart a little more.
Mhm.
And it was from there, that point, that movie was my number one inspiration to have me do
Wow.
what I'm doing now, to
Wow.
continue on. It was from right there. I still love the movie to this day. Think Will Smith and Kevin James are both phenomenal actors. And
Yes, they are.
yeah, oh yeah. But that was my inspiration. That's what brought me here today. Now, the thing actually, it was from there to about 3 years ago when I was
Mhm.
actually going to college for cybersecurity and networking.
Mhm.
Programming, not so good. Hardware side of things, the tech side of things, topography, the networking. Oh, I was on top of it. I was actually maintaining a 3.8 GPA. No, But when we got into the second year and they were starting to introduce the programming side of things, I thought, oh, I'm not good at this. Okay. So I had thought to talk to my my school, like the student advisor about like changing the the degree I'm going for. She had told
Mm-hmm.
me to talk to the career counselor, as I found out that was a life coach, which is I found out is what I had been doing all this time and had become a real profession. And that's when I was like, when did this become a real job? Um, because I've never seen it advertised. You don't see life coaching advertised that much, or at least I never did. But also at the same time, I didn't realize how young it was, being only 50 years old. So I'm thinking, oh, that's why. So it's mainly a word of mouth thing. But in the circles I was running in and the different jobs that I had, it wasn't really that kind of word going around from mouth to mouth. So that being said, it was there that I heard I had to go to an academy to get the PCC certification or some kind of certification. I had to save up money for it. So I was sticking with the job that I had. And
Mm-hmm.
then about a couple months before I lost my job as a semi truck driver, I had heard that I don't need a degree or a certification for it because of how many famous life coaches there are that don't have one. So when I lost that job, I took it as a sign last in 20 April, the first weekend of April of 2024 is when I had thought, you know what? I'm going to launch this professionally. I want to do this for real. I want to help people. Always been my passion.
Know what you mean. I resonate with that so much. It's very much my passion too. Very much so. Also, I was going to ask you this question. Like, when a client books with you and things like that, like, okay, for your instance, your male clients, right? What type of healing modalities or procedures, to help them with the wounding that they have with their masculinity and things like that, just to how they can balance that more and really tap in to be more in touch with their own soul, their own body, right? And it's okay to feel safe, to feel vulnerable, because vulnerability is not a weakness, it's so much such a strength.
Oh, yeah. Well, to answer your question, the first thing I try to get my male clients to do and to try to like have that inner work is that they have
Hmm.
to let go of their ego. They
Yeah.
have to let go of their ego. They got to let go of their pride. They got to let go of all of that because it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. We all need help.
That part.
We do. We will need help at some point. It's not these gentlemen's fault for
Mhm.
not being raised or going or having those experiences to give them that kind of mindset that it is okay. Because I will tell you this right now. I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm an
Mhm.
Army combat veteran. I was in Iraq. I was in South Korea. I've been in fights. I have stood up for when things were wrong, doing the right thing, but I also cry. I look at beautiful pieces of art. I listen to beautiful music that move me. I do sound resonance meditation at night to help me sleep. Um, I've faced my demons of PTSD, and I've not had a single nightmare in over 16 years, and that's through meditation every night as well. And yes, Claudia, absolutely. Balance between masculinity and femininity. That's another thing I try to introduce. I do have a feminine side, and I'm a balanced man of masculinity and femininity, and I don't care. It doesn't make me a woman. It doesn't make me anything less than being a man that's willing to step up and fight for the right things. I can take a hit. I can dish one out. I will stand up and protect. But at the same time, I will hold. I will nurture. I will calm the woman that I'm with to that happens to be in sorrow or tears. I will give that gentle hand and touch to those who need it. It is absolutely 100% okay to be balanced between masculine and feminine, and that's something that men really need to get over on the fact that it's really okay.
That part, right? It's so okay. And also for women too. Also for
Oh
women,
yeah,
because
oh yeah, yeah.
right, because it's we are masculine, feminine, right? And some of us are more dominant in more of our feminine and our masculine. And literally just exactly what you said. You had so many beautiful PowerPoints right there. And thank you. You explained it so phenomenal. Like you literally did. Thank you. And that's balance, what you just said. Because literally you're holding space, you're being neutral, and you're waxing and you're waning your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere, your yin and your yang. Literally, right? And you're literally teaching your clients, assisting them to have different perspectives and really dive into that inner, because there's so many layers that each and every client is different, right? Hello. I
Yes,
mean, for me too, as
yes.
well. And they have all this different layers of trauma, right? And it just
Oh
depends
yeah.
how much they want to dive into that too. But also too, there's so many different layers of relationships, so many different dynamics of relationships, especially these days, now more and more and more and more. Some want to be monogamous, some want to be polyamorous, it's non-binary. There's just so many different dynamics and so many family dynamics that's brought into it as well. So yes, it's just it's a very sensitive topic, and it just needs to be handled very delicately. I just think so, don't you?
Oh, I do, but if I may, I do want to bring honor to women because you did mention that when I focused on the men. I
Mhm.
do want to say this. I don't care what the red pill side says. I really don't care what Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate, Andrew Wilson, Brian. I don't care what they say. Women can fight. I served in the military. I've seen women fight. We may live in a modern day to where that kind of thing is not necessary anymore, but I'm sorry, I'm descended from Nordic Vikings. If you ever heard the term shield maiden, look up your history and find out what that is. Women are just as smart. Women can be very masculine too, because you're right about that. When I
Yeah,
see a 5'2", 80-pound woman make a 6'4" man feel like he's 2 inches tall, I say that that's pretty masculine. That's powerful.
right. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I really got to say that I honor that women can very much do they can be very much masculine, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Like one of my besties was in the military, right? And she just literally retired after 30 plus years. She's very masculine and very, you know, very lesbian in
Pretty
her masculinity. Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. Right. And yes. And she literally is a certified Reiki practitioner. We literally got our certificates together on Veterans Day. Literally, it will be 2 years ago. Literally, though, but yes, we so did, and she's a Libra, which is funny because that's we're talking about balancing, right? And it's all about balancing because it is. It's about balancing our scales, just balancing, not just within ourselves, but it just is. When we do it within ourselves, it comes out to the external world as well, and it brings out this ripple effect. But we also have this question from Claudia in the audience that is asking you this, Travis: how do you introduce trauma for males?
I'm gonna need a little bit more specific on that. Like, how do you mean? How do I introduce trauma? How do I let them know what trauma is, or a little context on that? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, okay. Well, I don't introduce trauma to men right off the bat because, again, it's about them letting go of their egos, and we're talking about men here.
Right.
We're talking about men.
Yeah.
It's about like the biggest thing is I have to let them trust me. They have to trust me to the deepest extent because the more that they trust me, the more context they can give me, the
Hmm.
better I can help them. But if you're talking about introducing trauma into their lives as if they've never experienced it, I I'm a little lost on that. I'm sorry. It's just a very vague thing because is she asking me how do I help male clients deal with trauma?
She's probably saying, I think she means this. Like when males, basically when you have male clients and they're coming to you as trauma, she's probably asking you, how do you probably reintroduce it? Like, how are the things that they can find that as not weaknesses? Do you know what I'm saying? And use that as their strength. How you help
Okay.
them to assist them to use that trauma as strength and don't see it as a weakness, to not see them that they're not worthy or they're not man enough, or you know what I mean, or confident enough and things.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, all right. I will at a point with the male clients, I will bring around the trauma when I see the opening for it, when I see it's calm enough, when I see that there's like a specific word, because that's I have six-dimensional thinking, so
Yeah.
I that's another reason why context is important to me. So when I hear a specific word or sentence, or I recognize a certain
Mhm.
tone or mood or reaction or
Mhm.
whatnot, I would assess that it might be a good time to reintroduce and bring that around. And we can rediscuss it. And at the same time, I bring up a lot of examples, if I happen to have examples for that particular type of trauma,
Mhm.
to where they can start to realize and recognize it as not as a weakness, and start using it as a strength, and
Mhm.
also stop using it as an excuse for everyone else. Because I understand trauma is trauma, but it's not
Right.
fair when you use it, or when people use it as a basis, as a biased thing for
No.
everything henceforth. that that's
Exactly.
another that's another part of the trauma that I try to heal, that I try to bring to light when I help people. So
Mhm.
you can't do that, because not everyone, don't let one or a few people set the tone for everyone in the world. Don't do that, or every single situation.
Mhm.
Life, timing, the universe is all a roll of the dice. You
Yeah.
can't expect it to happen on every single time. That one incident, or maybe a couple, because it was bad timing or it was weird location, whatever. That's one of the things I try to help clients heal from when it comes to their trauma. And I also help them like recognize the things that they've done before,
Mhm.
what occurred during the trauma, and see if there's any advancements or strengths that they have been doing subconsciously to overpower and overcome that trauma that occurred in their lives. For example, when I hear someone saying that they have trouble, really a hard time speaking to people because of something happened in their childhood,
Mhm.
I look at them and
Mhm.
say, really? Then what's your excuse for talking to me right now? It's that kind of realization, that kind of spark,
Right.
that kind of starts it. And I continue
Mhm.
on with them, and they start to realize maybe I've been all wrong. Like, okay, how would you like to proceed? It's kind of like that. Or I'm sorry, exactly like that.
Yeah, exactly like that, right? Also, too, okay, this is another question. This one's another question I was going to ask you. Another
Okay.
question, too, is when you have a client that literally has had some abandonment issues, how would you go about that? How would you go about helping them assist with their, helping them assist with, abandonment issues too, as well?
It okay. That would depend on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, just like you. I don't generalize my clients at all. I don't.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
Right? Right? No,
I always
no.
I always say that the stage may be the same in certain areas, but the
Yeah,
cast and the script is always different.
that part
Always different.
and the contrast and the layers of all of it, right? It's like peeling back an onion to each layer, however much they want to even dive into those areas, or even touching those aspects of their journey. Also, too, there's another question. You were talking about, let's wake up about the purple pill.
Oh yeah,
Let's wake
yeah.
that up a
Actually,
little bit.
Actually, yeah, it was actually interesting. When I was going around and looking around on Reddit, I actually found that the purple pill has been around for quite a while. I was like, oh,
Wow.
I didn't know this. I thought I came up with this all on my own. All right, but I'm being a supporter of it. The
Mm-hmm.
way I look at it, the way I try to bring it about is the fact that I take the side of the red pill and blue, the sides of
Mm-hmm.
the red pill and blue pill. I take the toxic misinformation, the things that are actually hurting the dating world, whatnot. I pretty much debunk them, and I
Mm-hmm.
bring balance in between. Because I will say there are some good points on the red pill, and there's some good points on blue pill, and I try to bring in that segue balance between the
Got
two.
you.
That's what I
Yeah.
believe with the purple pill, and that's what I respect about it. Because I mean, for instance, like the red pill tries to argue the
Mm-hmm.
fact that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. I'm an army combat veteran. I served with all men. You want to try that narrative again? That it does exist. It does, and
Exactly.
there is such thing as toxic masculinity, and red pill guys get denied all they want. Like, no, it does. It does exist. Because I'm not going to bring up any verbal examples on that. A lot of
Yeah.
times, yeah, a lot of times on the blue pill side, they are very much trying to put women on a pedestal
Mm-hmm.
and saying that they are flawless, that they can do no wrong, and that's just a very toxic and bad narrative. And
Right. That's an illusion. I mean, that's literally being just in illusionment. That's just, yeah.
oh yes,
Yeah. So
and
much.
also how the blue pill like kind of has a narrative of men just be nice and you'll get love. That's not that's not how it works. That's not. I never tell any of my male clients to be a nice guy. I tell them to be a good man. There is a difference. Okay,
Absolutely.
a good man will stand his ground, but he will be respectful about it. He still has a spine. Nice
Hmm.
guys, you're just going to be doormats for the rest of your lives. Don't do that. Don't do it. You sacrifice your own strength. You sacrifice your own inner life. You sacrifice your own will and own word when you do that to just be continue being the nice guy and not yourself and not having a voice and standing your ground when it's justifiable. So that's what I mean. Like with the purple pill, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like how I took like the parts from the red pill, a couple things I had said before, like how no,
Hmm.
it doesn't. Toxic masculinity does exist, bringing that to light, debunking that, and the blue pill side of what I said right there. That's kind of the thing with the purple pill.
Yeah, and you're just converging and merging into the middle, like I said, and anchoring that sucker down to Mother Gaia.
Yeah.
And being neutral about it. Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's what the purple pill, that's me. That's how Raven loves to flow that way. I do. And I just like, so many haven't heard about the purple pill either. And when you had even brought it up, I said, you know what? I remember our conversation on our Zoom meet that we had before we even set up this beautiful podcast and such, right? And you had told me about the purple pill. I'm like, wow, yeah, why not? Let's talk about it. So, yes, I just think that's phenomenal. And I think that's a great framework to even work with a beautiful workshop that you might put out in the future for your clients too, as well, and have group sessions.
I just want to point out real quick. I
Mhm.
love your background. It is so beautiful and so cool at the
Thank
same time.
you.
I love the violet and the teal. I love the ravens. Like, wow, that's gorgeous.
Thank
I like it.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's sitting back there, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Okay, I can see the charms around his neck now. I didn't see that before. That's really cool. I like that.
Yes, like we're going into the realm through the oracle, right? Just going into the vortex, and we're bringing it all in this wisdom, and we're bringing it out there to the metaverse and to the whole world of the big wide world web of, YouTube out there, because this interview right here and this podcast right here will be out here forever. Literally, like this is a moment in time, right? And the people that are viewing now, but also too the ones that will also be, viewing the replay. So it's awesome. I love it. I love it. So
Oh,
everybody that's watching this, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share as well. And if you want to get a hold of Travis, all of his information is literally in the description box below.
Real quick to let everyone else know that I will actually be changing the name of my YouTube channel to Soul Forged Wellness, which is also the name of my business, actually. And I do have a website that is up that is also in the information if any of you want to look it up.
Okay, that's awesome. Do you have anything else that you would like to share before we close this out?
I believe you wanted to talk to me about the book I wrote too.
Yes, please. Let's talk about the book, because the title of this podcast is literally the title of your book. So please, what inspired you to write this book? And let's just start from there and talk about the summary and things as well. Absolutely.
Well, when I was 10 years old, my favorite comic franchise was the Marvel X-Men. I loved the diversity. I loved the amalgamation. I love the uniqueness of it, how bringing so many different individuals together, judgment or anything like that, working together, getting along with each other, trying to, it's comic book working with human beings, no
Mhm.
fear and whatnot, being led by one man who felt that, the world of humans and mutants could coexist. And he was doing it so powerfully and beautifully. It was just great. And, when you're a kid, whatnot, you're outside playing and everything else. Well, back in our day, when we were 10 around 10
Right,
years old.
that part.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up on iPads and
No,
iPhones and
no, yeah, the
tabs,
millennial, yeah,
tablets, right?
yeah, millennials and the other later
Gen
generations, they
Xer, Gen Xers,
Gen
Gen
Xers, they don't
Xers.
know. They
Yes.
don't know what we did for fun. So, like when I was a kid, I would sometimes try to go around and like with my friends, like play X-Men, whatever. But I always thought that if I was an X-Men mutant, what would be my abilities? You know? So it was always something that I playfully pondered for the past 30 years, thinking, just back and forth, reminiscing childhood stuff like that. Um, and when I was attending the academy to try to get my PCC certification, no, I didn't obtain it. That's another story. Um, my mentor and the teacher, the owner of the academy, she actually has the ability to see abilities. And I thought, like, oh,
Mm.
okay, cool. What would mine be? She gave me a list of my abilities, which is also where I found out I have six-dimensional thinking. I looked it up and she was extremely accurate. I'm like, that explains some things in my life. Okay. So I
Mhm.
really took her word to it. But when she did that, I thought to myself, wait a minute. I've been trying to find out what kind of mutant I would be, an X-Men, whatever, and I just took those abilities that she gave me, turned them
Mhm.
into like cool, like mutant abilities type deal, and I created my own character. And I'm like, I'm my own X-Men character. It's unique, individual. It's not a like part of the franchise, but I was really cool, happy with it. I'm like, awesome. But then it kind of opened up 30 years worth of imagination to pour out of my head, and I came up with so many more characters. I thought, hey, what if he had like where would he fit in the X-Men world? Would he have a team, or what would he do? And all of a sudden I just came up with so many of characters. I came up with the realms of theme, its dimensions, not
Yeah.
universe. It's not multiple universes, it's multiple dimensions. It's different, like different realms.
Parallel universes. Yes. Parallel universes. Yes.
Well, I was actually trying to move it away from multiverse because I know a lot of people in the
Yeah.
Marvel, because this was meant
Yeah.
to be a new sub franchise, possibly for the Marvel, for the MCU. And I was like, people are probably tired of the multiverse thing, so let's try to do something a little still cosmic but different. So I kind of went with like the Doctor Strange multiple dimensions thing, and I thought it was just really awesome.
It
So
is.
yeah. So I just came up with several realms,
Mhm.
protagonists, antagonists, the theme of like artifacts, like powerful artifacts that could like destroy, rip apart the universe, etc. There's even a world
Mhm.
that is a giant multi vault that is guarded by a certain individual who is the only one that can access the multiple different vaults and blocks and things like that. But I don't have the different types of vaults on there. Well, basically, I also added creatures in there too, and a couple of lores, Celtic and Nordic, kind of putting a little like tie in with that too.
Yeah.
Basically because I kind of felt myself wanting to be put more in there because I am actually Nordic and I'm also Irish and Scottish, so I got like
Mhm.
Nordic and Celtic in me, kind of bringing out
Mhm.
that, you know. And as I said, it was meant to be a new sub franchise for the for Marvel Comics, and I had noticed that they didn't have a whole lot of Celtic mythology put in there. I thought this could help bring it in more, you know, bring the Celtic, the Irish culture, and everything else a little deeper. And basically, what it is, it's just the book is 1 page shy of 500 actually, with an
Mhm.
amalgamation of all the bios and the images I created for these characters, and
Mhm.
hopes that it potentially, hopefully, can inspire a lot of people to know that, hey, you know what? I did this. I wrote the book. Um, I did use AI to generate the images because I'm not an artist. I don't have money to pay an artist, and I certainly didn't want to try to go on Google and risk copyright, you know. But
Mhm.
it's mainly and it's mainly to inspire individuals to go forward and create something because I did. I didn't think I could, but I did. Anyone can. Everyone has a spark. Ignite it, go create. The main character alone is meant to he ties into the video that I created. He's meant to inspire that other kind of change, our inner selves. How like he's got a few different cultures swimming through his veins, and he doesn't choose just to represent one. He's choosing to represent all three of them. Actually, he is. He's I made him Nordic, Celtic, and Atlantean actually, and he's all three. He embodies all of them. He doesn't choose just one. He knows that he has the full fledged right to do that because he is himself and he can represent those cultures. It's to inspire like star-crossed love, like true love, a soulmate kind of story, because that there's a story of that in there as well, or there's a potential story in there as well for that. It
Mhm.
also there's a realm that I'm actually very proud of. It's my favorite one that I made called the Elder Gloom. It brings back the monster movie nostalgia that we grew up with, but modern day too. You,
Ooh.
oh yeah, you got a werewolf that uses shadow abilities and he's an assassin. You
Mhm.
have a you have a biomechanical Frankenstein machine that's his own walking laboratory that makes constructs. You have
Mhm.
a female vampire general that uses chain blades as weapons.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
see again, yeah, old school monster movie, but
Exactly.
modern
I just
day.
love it.
Yeah,
Yes, that just ties in so I love that. Yes, that
mhm.
ties in so awesome. I love it.
and and yet, like I'm saying, it's got different realms. It's got great potential for a lot of stories and whatnot. And I a lot of people are asking me like, "Hey, you gonna write any other books on this?" I'm sitting here thinking, that's 30 years worth of imagination that I just poured out of my head.
Right, but they're like, are you? They're like, hold up. You're like, hold up. But there's probably going to be a sequel, to this series. Who knows? You might do a trilogy. Who
Oh,
knows?
oh no, no, I don't know if I was able to create the characters. I'm just hoping that if someone catches it and sees it and thinks that they can do a whole lot more with it, I'm like, oh, please do bring it out into the world. Bring it out into the world and what my vision is, but in the way that I can't. I'm a very limited person, and I'm, but
No,
at the
you're
same
not.
time,
You're not
well,
limited. No, we're not. You're unlimited. We're unlimited, and anything's
okay,
possible. It really
true.
is. When you trust, believe, and receive, you just throw it out there to the universe and let Big Daddy
I
take care of it.
Actually, yeah, you're right. This is a poor choice of words, especially since being a holistic wellness coach myself. I would say my resources are a little limited. I would say that. I would say my resources and that kind of stuff is pretty limited. That, yeah, I mean, I really do hope that people can catch an eye on it. I'm very proud of it, and a few people have thought it was actually pretty amazing. So,
Yes. Well, the title's amazing, and just the characters and everything, and how you tied it in with the Celtic and the Irish and things. I just love that, and also too how you tied it in and just tripled it with the Atlantean star seed race too as well. That's just awesome. I too have Irish in me, and very much into the Celtic heart. It very much runs deep through my lineage, very much so, and I just very honored, and I really practice, I really practice in my Irish traditions and things too as well, and I'm very, very grateful, that my Irish ancestors has really guided me in on my journey, and as far as my ascension journey, and has really woken me up to that true, very much so, with my mother on my mother's side, that's crossed over many, 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 many moons ago.
Yeah, yeah. It's like okay, like example with your background, how powerful that is for me. Me being Nordic, to me,
Right.
Raven, the
Yes.
Raven
Right.
is immensely powerful. I mean,
Hmm.
think of Odin's ravens, Hugin and Unit, thought and memory.
Yes. Yes.
They were the eyes of the world for Odin.
Exactly. And
You
I'm
know, I
very
mean,
much with Odin and Freya, their story and things, right? And guess
yeah.
what? This is exactly why I wanted to have it on Friday day. And I don't remember because it's Freya day, right? And it's Odin and Freya. And here we are discussing your book. So, see, divine timing and synchronicities. I have chills all over me. So that's why we were supposed to do it today. That's exactly
It,
why.
it, it was a little iffy in the beginning when I saw
It
that my
was.
camera
They
went
were
out. Like,
trying to mess with us
no,
again a
no.
little bit. I'm like, nah, not this time. We're rolling this sucker out today. We're rolling it out
Oh yeah,
today, Spirit. Yeah, they were
yeah.
trying to pull some techniques of shenanigans, weren't they?
Oh yeah, you saw my reaction. I was looking at this, going, no, 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 no. We're
Right.
not doing this again. No.
Exactly. We're going to roll this puppy out today, right?
Oh yeah,
And we so
absolutely.
have, and it's been phenomenal, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Is there
So have
anything
I.
else? Is there anything else
Um,
that you would like to share with our audience?
what I would like to share with the audience right now
Mhm,
is that a motto that I have, and I say this to my clients, it's my personal motto:
mhm.
perception without context is assumption. Ask the questions, look beyond the veil. Don't judge people. Ask. That's not part of the quote. That's just what it kind of emphasizes. Ask the questions. You see something that doesn't resonate with you or it seems wrong, don't jump to the conclusions. Or if you have an assumption about someone without knowing them fully, get to know them, ask questions. You'd be surprised what you learn of people.
That was
And
so
guess what?
beautiful. That was so beautiful, Travis, because I fully agree. I fully agree. We don't know what anybody and what their path is, and each and every one of us is such on most individual path, but so much of us have so much in common too as well. And you never know unless you have those one-on-ones that communicate. Have that cup of coffee, share that cup of tea, you know, all these things. And it's about building community as well.
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a history. Everyone has a path they're trying to follow. When you disregard that and just pay attention to what you automatically see and judge right off the bat, you're going to miss out on that story.
That part. And it might be the best story of your whole freaking timeline of your whole lifetime. Without. So speak up, buttercups. It's very, very crucial. Very, very much so. So much. There is a few announcements that I am going to make before we close out this podcast too as well. So be looking out for the upcoming podcast, June the 9th, about unveiling the Cosmic Mother. Me and Universal Dragon, Universal Love Dragon, will be, she's my lovely co-host, and we'll be tapping into that, having some lovely meditations and how to work on our dragon's breath as well, but also, too, the different archetypes of the Cosmic Mother and how we're coming home. She's calling each and every one of us back home. Do you really hear her call? Come back home. She's calling each and one of us back home to our true self, to our true North Node as well. But also, too, I would like to also June the 20th, it also too on TikTok at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, Central Standard Time. They're also doing a Reiki art session with the lovely Jamie London Wahlberg as well, with Reiki, channeled Reiki, and a watering color. So please, 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 all the links are in my bio too as well. So be on the lookout for that. Not to mention, let me see here. Yeah, hold a second. It's literally running across the screen as we speak. And if you like to get in contact with me, all my information literally is in my bio too as well. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me and DM me. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn too as well. You could also do the very same with Travis as well. All of his information, even his Instagram, is literally linked in the description at the bottom of this podcast too as well. And yeah. Oh, and also too, I also have a workshop, an upcoming workshop with the lovely Lady Lotus, Essential Intelligence, that will be rolling out literally June the 13th too as well. And I also will be doing a pop-up live with her. We'll be going into more further details, and that will be holding it on Eventbrite. And I will be having more further details and be lookout for that. Is there anything else, Travis, that you would like to say before we close this out today?
I was actually going to say one more thing for the audience. If you want to see a little bit more of what I do, I'm also publishing a magazine. I have an article published in a magazine called Start Healthy by Jenna Williams and Karen Pascal. It'll be the last page on it if any of you want to check it out. If any of you want to check it out, it was for the spring catalog, bringing homage to Ostara of the Dawn, the original goddess of spring.
I love it. I love it. That is so beautiful. And I just love them. They are beautiful, beautiful women. They are beautiful what they do in their cause. I've had the lovely privilege of being on their platform too as well, discussing quantum healing and things, and discussing how it is very vital and important to just walk in that holistic wellness, journey. It is for mind, body, soul, spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and financially as well. So with that, everyone, we're going to close for now. And thank you so very much. And hit the like, subscribe, and share button as well. And namaste, beautiful souls. Namaste. And bye-bye for now. Bye-bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.